All right, if you've ever walked a dog in a city, you know the drill, right? You're trying to get your steps in, keep a good pace, and your dog, well, your dog wants to stop and sniff. Literally everything. That constant little tug of war on the leash. It feels like a minor annoyance. But what if I told you it's actually a fundamental misunderstanding between two completely different species? Today we're going to dive into how embracing your dog's nose, really leaning into it, can transform not just your walks, but your entire relationship.
And this idea of a canine-primate disconnect, honestly, it's the key to everything. See, we're primates. We experience the world mostly through our eyes. But our dogs, they live in a world made of smells. So every time we pull them along or say leave it from that interesting patch of grass, we're basically telling them to put on a blindfold. We're asking them to ignore the very sense they use to understand, well, everything.
This really breaks down that disconnect perfectly. For us, a walk is usually about getting from point A to point B. It's linear. It's about distance. For a dog, though, it's a journey through a massive library of scents. Every single fire hydrant is a community bulletin board. Every patch of grass is like their social media feed, telling them exactly who's been there, what mood they were in, maybe even if they were feeling sick. We just see a boring old sidewalk. They're reading an epic novel.
And look, this isn't just about them having a bit more fun. When we force a dog to live in our visual world and constantly shut down their world of smell, it leads to real problems. You know, the excessive barking, the constant pulling, that frantic anxiety you see in so many city dogs, a lot of that comes from this chronic sensory deprivation. Their brain is literally built for a job that we're not letting them do. Okay, so what if we could give them that job back? Well, we can. But first, you have to truly appreciate the sheer power they're packing. We're about to look inside the incredible biological hardware that makes a dog's nose a legitimate superpower. No exaggeration.
I mean, the difference in the hardware is it's staggering. Get this. We humans have about 6 million olfactory receptors. Sounds like a lot, right? Well, a dog can have up to 300 million. This isn't just a little bit better. It's a completely different reality. It's like the difference between us seeing a single pixel and them watching a movie in high-definition IMAX.
And it's not just the nose itself, it's the brain power behind it. The part of a dog's brain that's dedicated to analyzing all this scent information is, proportionally, 40 times bigger than ours. So you have all these millions of receptors feeding data into what is basically a supercomputer designed for one primary mission: to decode the entire world through smell.
The nose itself is just a marvel of biological engineering. Inside there, they have this incredibly complex, maze-like structure that creates a huge surface area just to trap scent molecules. And get this, they can actually take in a sniff of air and divert a little sample of it into a special pocket for more detailed analysis, all while continuing to breathe normally. It's like they have a built-in science lab. And on top of all that, they have a second scent system just for detecting pheromones and emotional signals from other animals. It's wild.
Okay, but this is where it gets truly mind-bending, because odors fade over time, right? A dog can smell a trail of footprints, and by detecting the tiny differences in how strong the smell is from one print to the next, they can tell which direction the person was walking. Think about that. They are literally smelling the past. They're smelling time. It's like a fourth dimension to their reality that we can barely even wrap our heads around. So, with this incredible superpower just sitting there, how can we actually harness it? Well, that brings us to scent work. And trust me, it is so much more than just a fun game. It's a way to use the actual neuroscience of the sniff as a really powerful form of medicine for our dogs. The whole thing hinges on this really cool concept called the seeking system. It's this primal, motivational circuit deep in the brain that lights up whenever an animal is exploring or hunting for something. So when your dog is actively searching for a specific scent, their brain gets this amazing flood of dopamine. That's the feel-good chemical. And what's crucial to understand is that it's not just about finding the treat at the end. The act of searching, the seeking itself, is the reward. And activating the system has real, tangible, science-backed benefits. That dopamine rush, it creates intense focus and a feeling of pleasure. The physical act of sniffing, of really concentrating on a scent, actually lowers their heart rate. It literally calms them down. And this is my favorite part. Studies have shown that dogs who do scent work actually become more optimistic. Yeah, they're more likely to see a new or uncertain situation as a good thing rather than a scary thing. So let's picture that classic anxious city dog. We'll call him Pip. All his energy is just scattered. It comes out as barking at noises, pulling on the leash. Scent work takes all that frantic energy and gives it a job. It channels it away from that unfocused reactivity and into a focused, purposeful, and deeply satisfying task. Pip is no longer just reacting to the world, he's actively problem-solving within it.
And you know what the best part is? You don't need some huge backyard or a bunch of fancy equipment to do this. You can start right now in your own living room. So let's walk through a couple of super simple games to get you and your dog started tonight.
Honestly, the setup couldn't be easier. You probably have most of the stuff already. Some really yummy, high-value treats, a few old cardboard boxes. Then you just need a couple of cheap things like birch oil and some cotton swabs. The barrier to getting started is basically zero. All right, so the very first step is what we call imprinting. It's super simple. All we're doing is teaching your dog that this one specific smell, birch, predicts that something amazing is about to happen. You hold out the little tin with the scent. The second their nose touches it, you say yes and give them a treat right there at the tin. You do this a few times and they'll quickly learn that birch scent equals awesome food. Okay, so once they're excited about that smell, you introduce the search. While they're out of the room, you just set out a few boxes and pop the scent tin in one of them. Make it super, super easy at first. Then you bring them in, say something like, find it, and then your job is to just be quiet and let them figure it out. When they find the right box, you throw a party. Praise, lots of treats, make it the best thing ever. The goal here isn't to make it hard, it's to build a confident, enthusiastic dog who absolutely loves playing this game. And you know, as you start playing these simple games, something really profound starts to happen. It goes way beyond just teaching a new trick. You actually start to fundamentally shift the entire dynamic between you and your dog.
Think about it. In pretty much every other part of our dog's lives, we're the ones in charge, right? We teach them to sit, to stay, to come when called. We are the experts. They are the students. But scent work, it completely flips that script on its head.
So that leads to the most important question of all. In this new partnership, in this game you're now playing together, who is the real expert?
The answer is simple, and it's powerful, and honestly, it's a little humbling. It's your dog. They have the superpower. You're just the support crew.
And that means your role has to completely change. You have to learn to let go of control. You have to stop trying to help and instead become an observer. You start learning to read that subtle flick of an ear or the change in their breathing that tells you, I've got it. And maybe the hardest part, you have to learn to trust their nose, even when they're telling you the scent is in some crazy place that makes absolutely no sense to your human brain.
So really, that's the ultimate takeaway here. Scent work isn't just a sport. It's a tool that lets you transform that daily tug-of-war on the leash into a true collaborative adventure. It's your chance to finally get a glimpse of the world through their incredible nose. So the only question left is, are you ready to stop walking your dog and start exploring with your partner?